All right, let the lesson begin. So a health savings account, for short, is called an HSA. And what an HSA is used for is to cover your medical expenses. It's an account that does not go away like a flexible spending account like you would see at a job. What's real nice about an HSA, what I like about it most, is the money goes in tax-free, or tax deductible actually. So you get a tax deduction on the money you put in. The money grows tax-free. So you'll never pay taxes on any of the money you make inside of your HSA. Now, most people use an HSA and they have it housed at a bank, like in a savings account, where you'll earn 0.5% or 1% interest. Not a big deal, but it's secure and it sits there. The other thing I like about it is the money comes out completely tax-free as well for medical expenses. So let me show you how I was able to get my medical expenses covered for the rest of my life. I'm going to draw this out for you. So you've got an HSA, and what you're able to do with the HSA, like I said, the money goes in completely tax deductible. You're allowed to put up to $3,000 a year into your HSA. So what that means is if you're making, let's say, $40,000 a year on your tax from your job or from your income, you get to subtract that $3,000 that you put in, and you only pay taxes on $37,000. So that's where I was getting at, where it comes out completely, or goes in tax deductible. All right, so like I said, you're allowed to put $3,000 a year in. Well, I have $6,000. I had $6,000 inside of my health savings account. So my HSA equals $6,000, okay? That's 2 years worth of contributions. Well, what I did is I wanted to figure out a way to make bigger returns on my HSA, so this way I can cover my medical expenses for the rest of my life. What I did is I went out and found a piece of real estate that I can buy. So I bought a house, I'm going to draw a picture of somewhat of a house, for $5,100. And that's the house. There was no mortgage on it. I don't owe any money on it. That's how much the house cost. The reason I was able to pick up the house for $5,100 is because I did a real estate strategy called a short sale. What a short sale is when a bank will negotiate with a homeowner who's in foreclosure to take a discount on the loan. I can go into more information on that at one of my workshops if you want to learn more about that. So I picked up the house for $5,100. I did put $800 into repairs in the house. Really all it needed was a little bit of cleanup and some paint and some flooring. I've got contractors that work with me regularly, so I'm able to get pretty nice deals on the labor. So I was into the house for $5,900, okay? I had $100 left inside of my HSA because we subtracted $5,900, the $5,100 to purchase and the $800 to repair the house. Well, what I wanted to do was find a renter to live in this house and pay monthly rent every month, because all the money collected has to go back into the HSA, because it's an investment inside of the HSA. I don't own the house, my HSA owns the house, okay? HSA health savings account. So the HSA now, instead of having $6,000 in it, it has a house and $100. Well, I placed ads in the newspaper and I put a sign in front of the house. The sign said rent to own, no bank needed. I got calls on it. I found a family that wanted to live there for $600 per month. Now, the $600, that doesn't go into my pocket. That goes back to the HSA. Month after month after month, it goes back into the HSA. So after 12 months, that's $7,200 that has gone into my HSA. Now, you say $7,200 is not enough to cover your medical expenses. I can agree with that if you don't have health insurance. Well, I have a health insurance plan where I have a $1,500 deductible. So what that means is for the first $1,500, that comes out of my HSA. So every year, I can spend up to $1,500 on medical expenses from my HSA. After that, my health insurance covers it 100%, so I don't have to pay anything. So let's say I use up the full $1,500. That leaves me with $5,700 inside of my HSA. So every year, my HSA grows by $5,700, as long as all the rents come in on time, of course. And then there are expenses. I do have to pay taxes and insurance on the property. That's figured in. That takes off a little bit of cash flow there. So you've got about $5,000. Let's take that off for the taxes. Remember, it's a $5,000 house, so taxes aren't that much. So let's say $5,000 goes into the HSA left over after my deductible every year. So with that $5,000, what do you think I do with that money? Well, I could either spend it on medical expenses. Well, I can use it, and I can, if my doctor says that I need to go to the gym for health, I can use my HSA funds for that. Now, that doesn't come out of my health insurance deductible. That would just come straight out of my HSA. I can, if my doctor says that I need a massage because I'm stressed, well, that comes out of my HSA. So there's a lot of ways to get a lot of fringe benefits from your HSA as well. So every year, my HSA is growing by about $5,000 a year. Well, I've had the house now for about a year and a half. So let's say I have $5,000 in there, okay? Because that's about what I have in there as cash. Well, with that money, what I was able to do was put a down payment on a house, a deposit, excuse me, on a house. I took $1,000 out. I know this might be a little confusing. I took $1,000 out and put it down as earnest money on a house. I did what's called a wholesale deal, where I moved the paper from me being able to buy the house to another investor being able to buy the house. That's called a wholesale deal, where you don't use any of your money or any of your credit. Well, I did need to put down earnest money, so this way it's tied up inside of my HSA. My HSA made $6,000 on that deal. So now I went from having $5,000 to having $11,000 in my HSA. So I'm growing my HSA to cover my medical expenses. It's like a retirement account. It's used for medical expenses only. That's all it can come out for. Medical expenses, like I said, could be a massage, it could be a health gym membership, it could be toothpaste. Anything that's a medical expense related can come out of there completely tax-free. Well, I just did another real estate deal inside of it. I picked up a house. Let me draw this. I picked up a house for $2,800. Now, this house definitely requires more work than the other one did. Well, my strategy on this one is to find a family that wants to do a rent-to-own and fix the house up themselves. So all I'm going to have into the house is $2,800. I'm going to collect a deposit from them, probably $1,000 down, and then $500 a month as rent while they're living there until they buy the house from me. Well, when they buy the house from me, I'll probably make about $30,000 on that. Now, this $30,000, guess where that money has to go? You got it. Right back into the HSA. So what's really cool about the HSA, too, is you can leave it to your family members. So I can show you how to get this set up where you can start earning money like this, $30,000, $500 a month, $600 a month, consistently inside of your HSA, and then you can leave that to your family members. So this way you and your descendants will never have to pay medical expenses, ever again. All right, don't worry, if this was confusing to you, that's okay. It was confusing to me the first time I saw it too. That's why I want to invite you to one of my workshops. They're absolutely free, and I can spend the time with you to answer your questions, go over this, introduce you to some of my partners, so this way you can see what's available to you.